I'm not going to take too much time today discussing the current situation in the country because I think as citizens we all know the crisis that we are facing. If we step outside our doors, we're going to see on one side of the road there are queues for fuel, on the other side of the road there are queues for gas. Parents are seeing a lot of troubles faced by their children with their school examinations being delayed due to the shortage of paper in the country. 4 people have died standing in these queues that are being caused by the shortages. We have seen shortage of food, we have seen a shortage of medicine, and we have seen a shortage of dollars. The crisis has been growing for several months. It's only going to get worse. The government has not shown us any sort of solutions. In fact, government ministers are coming before the media and telling us that the gas shortage will be sorted out tomorrow, the fuel shortage will be sorted out next week. These dates are still to come. Every week it gets delayed by another week. Sometimes the ministers are telling us that there is no fuel shortage in the country, that there is no gas shortage in the country, that these are being caused by the citizens. The government has no plan and no solution to the crisis. Unfortunately, on the other hand, we have also seen political parties from the opposition take to the streets. They have been bringing crowds to Colombo and they have been demonstrating. They have been protesting outside the presidential secretariat, calling for the president to be removed, for the government to be overthrown. They're saying give them the position of presidency or give them the government. Yet they too have not shown any solution to the current crisis in the country. The people are scared. The Sri Lankan citizens are looking for leadership and they're looking for answers. Unfortunately, both these are also are facing a shortage in the country. Yesterday afternoon, representing the United National Party, our leader and the former Prime Minister, Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe, attended the all-party conference. We attended that with the sole purpose of presenting some ideas on how we can solve the crisis in the country. Now, at that meeting, there were a few key points that the UNP raised. One of those was that we have to engage the IMF. Now, the government has said that they are going to engage the IMF, and we thank them for that. However, this demand has been made since April 2020, at the onset of the COVID pandemic. The government has ignored it for 2 years, which has resulted in this crisis going. So now at least if the government is engaging the IMF, we have said they need to go one step further. We are going in for a debt restructuring program, which means that we are going to need the assistance of experts. In Sri Lanka's case, there has never been a debt restructuring program undertaken by any government. This means that expertise that is not within the country. So we have said they need to go outside and in a transparent manner, with a commonly agreed upon criteria, we have to select experts who come in and guide the government on how to undertake this debt restructuring program. We have also outlined another step that needs to be taken. The government needs to go and seek the assistance of foreign nations. Now, what we mean by that is in 2001, when the then UNP government took over the government, we inherited an economy that was facing collapse. At that time, we went to several friendly nations and sought their advice. Those countries included the United States of America, Norway, and Japan, along with a few others. This resulted in the Tokyo Donor Conference being held in Tokyo, Japan. At that meeting, the then Honorable Ranil Wickremesinghe, Prime Minister of the country, was able to secure $4.5 billion in foreign aid. That helped stabilize the economy. When we took the economy over at that stage, we were facing negative growth. We turned it to over 3% positive growth. We have done it before, it can be done again, but these steps need to be followed. However, before any of these solutions are taken, the UNP has a clear message. The country, the political parties, and civil groups need to come together. We need to put aside our differences and form a national policy. Now, by a national policy, we are saying that the government and the country needs to implement a new framework by which future governments will operate. We need to have a commonly agreed upon direction in which the country will go down. 1977, when the then President J.R. Jayawardena took office, he introduced a new national policy that saw the opening of the economy and the growth of the middle class. However, in the 45 years since, there has been no progress in terms of a national policy. Successive governments have come and reversed the decisions and initiatives undertaken by the previous government. That is why we are now facing the problems we face today. So we are calling upon all political parties and all civil groups to put aside your differences and come together. We need a national policy if we want to have long-term solutions to the problems in the country. The UNP can take over tomorrow. We can solve this crisis. Unfortunately, that when the next government comes in without the structure of a national policy, those problems will once again arise because most likely they will reverse many of the decisions that we take. In lieu of that, on March 25th at Hyde Park at 3 p.m., the United National Party will be joining several other political parties and civil groups in a satyagraha. Now, this is a non-political event. We will not be there to promote any individuals. We will not be there to promote any political parties. We have been told to all come in white. No political colors will be displayed, no political banners will be displayed. This is open to the entire public, no matter what your political affiliations are. We have a single message that we are going to say in one voice, and that is that we need a national policy to be brought into the country. That is the only way that we can solve the crisis. So we, as the UNP, would also like to invite all the citizens of Sri Lanka to join us. The last few weeks we have seen demonstrations prop up all over the city and around the country regarding the shortages. We applaud them, and now we ask them to join us in this, a show of solidarity. We're not asking you to get behind the United National Party, we're asking you to get behind the message of a creation of a national policy that will take the country forward.